Hey, Laird Wellness Live. This is weird. I'm over here. She's over there.
Good evening.
Thought we'd switch it up. We're not going to do this again because it's all weird. We don't even know how to sit. It's goofy. Anyway, how you doing? Welcome to Laird Wellness Live. We are having some fun. This is good. My gosh, it was warm here today. 82 degrees. Like, what the heck was with that?
Really nice.
That was crazy.
Yep.
Really good. Anyway, we like that. We don't like cold. People say, oh, I just want it to be fall already. Really move up to Canada. We were up there for 25 years plus. I mean, go try that for a while. Then you'll appreciate the warm.
Right.
So we're going to talk about heart toxins tonight. Mm-hmm. So heart toxins. This is just from an email that came across my way last week.
Okay.
It was from the Orthomolecular News. So this is basically a naturopathic email. Sends out a lot of good info, really simplified wording, so it's not overly complicated, really easy to understand. And basically they're saying that there are certain things that affect the heart that make them heart toxins. And ironically, it's really, really simple. So we're going to get through what some of these are tonight and how you can take care of them with simple supplementation. And lo and behold, in the research I was doing on this, I discovered we already have something to help on our shelf. I mean, that was not planned. I was like, oh. We've got that. That's cool. So we're also going to have a sale on that particular stuff as we learn tonight, and you'll be able to get that at 15% off. Oh, speaking of money off. Okay, so we have one more day for our Oxy Mist sale. Yes. We had actually sold out. The reason we had this sale is because the manufacturer sent us a bunch of stuff, and it was an accident. It was the wrong stuff, but It was Oxy Mist. Well, we thought, we like Oxy Mist. Everybody likes Oxy Mist, so we'll put it on sale. So we put it on sale, and we ran out. Yes. So I said, quick, send us some more. So just later this afternoon, we just got it in. It just arrived at a door. It's still sitting over there, and we put it back on our store.
Right.
So we have more now. It's 20% off Oxy Mist. Use code OXY20. It ends tomorrow, November 20th. Okay, so you got to get it tonight or tomorrow to get the 20% off Oxy Mist. I didn't think people were going to be buying like 3 at a time,
right,
or 2 at a time, and they are. That's why they're all gone. So you need to get it right now. It's OXY20, 20% off Oxy Mist. And if you want to know what that's all about, you can go to lairdwellness.com/rumble, and you can see the replay of what we did last week because we talked all about Oxy Mist.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. And actually, the manufacturer of this, Pearl Oral Health, they actually send out an email to their people saying, hey, watch what Laird Wellness Live did about Oxy Mist, because there's lots of cool information in there. So that was really nice. So thanks very much to Pearl Oral Health, Oral Med Aesthetics as they're also known. Now, we are going to get into tonight, what are heart toxins and how can we get rid of them? So quite simply, here is what a heart toxin is. Right about, oh, that's the wrong image here. Here we go. Nope. There we go. Okay. So, many different toxins, including many heavy metals. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight. Not Bon Jovi and like AC/DC, have been either linked to heart failure or clearly shown to be the direct cause. So, yeah, not just, dangerous to the heart, but heart failure. So furthermore, one or more of these toxins is nearly always present in high concentrations in the affected heart muscle. So a lot of these things have an affinity for the heart muscle, not just any muscle. So, they'll collect in other parts of the body, but for whatever reason, the heart is really the target. And something we've been always talking about for the last couple of years is when COVID came along and the injection came along, they were talking about spike protein.
Right.
That's actually on the list.
Oh.
We're going to talk about that tonight.
Okay.
And how you can mitigate the risks of what's going on there. Because the spike protein, what it does, no wonder it's a heart toxin because it tears up the blood vessels.
Right.
So you think of spike protein. So spike is literally, that's the operative word there. So imagine microscopic pine needles rushing through your blood system all day long, 24/7, and the body keeps creating more and more and more of it, because if you had the injection, your body's going to become a spike protein factory. It's never going to stop. And in fact, I say never because we don't know.
Right.
Nobody knows. And it hasn't stopped yet. And so doctors are still scratching their heads going, well, I guess we're all kind of guinea pigs here, which we told everybody in the first place.
Right.
So you're a guinea pig if you took it, because now you don't know if that spike protein is ever going to stop producing. So what it does is, like I said, it's microscopic pine needles flushing through your body at every second. And they've got a spiky, it's like having spikes on both ends. So say here's your blood vessel. And so they come swimming along these spike proteins and they get stuck in the blood vessel. And then there's another, it's like when you get a sliver and you got like one piece of it sticking out. Well, on that piece that's sticking out, the blood vessels, the blood platelets come swimming by and they get scraped on the opposite end of that spike protein. So then the immune system says, oh, there's a problem here, and it comes in to repair things. Well, when it repairs things, you get these microscopic clots. Well, what have they been finding in people who had the injection and have since passed away of whatever? When they drain the blood at the mortician's office, at the morgue, at the what am I trying to say? Crematorium by the mortician. I guess a mortician. Mortician's office, whatever.
The morgue.
At the funeral home, yeah.
Funeral home.
When they're draining the blood, they see these microscopic blood clots all over the body, and they're like, what is that? It almost looks like sand, little bits of sand in the blood. So that's what's happening, is you're getting all these microscopic clots. And of course, one clot can lead to another clot and create bigger problems. And you've probably seen video of that too, with these clots that are literally like a foot long. And people are like, what is this stuff?
Right.
Never been seen before. That's partly due to a foreign protein in the body as well, combining with fibrinogen and creating these crazy long things. Anyway, we're not going to get into too much of that tonight, but that's obviously why it's a heart toxin, right? All right, so what exactly are these heart toxins? Which ones are we talking about here? So these are the ones we are talking about. Lead. And some of these are obvious, right? You don't want too much lead in your body, or mercury or aluminum. Those are all on the list. As well as copper and iron. So copper kind of struck me as strange, because now there are copper supplements out there.
There are, but you can really easily overdo it.
Right.
You really have to test your copper levels if you're going to take it as a supplement.
And the reason why people were suggesting copper is because people were overtaking zinc during the pandemic, and copper and zinc offset each other.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, okay, now we're robbing Peter to pay Paul here. Cobalt and chromium are also on the list. Cadmium. So these are all heavy metals, right? So gold, silver, obviously. Yeah, chemotherapy, right? Interestingly, if you fill your teeth with mercury, you think, oh, that's bad. Well, I've got gold fillings. Well, gold's on the list too. Chemotherapy is also on the list. We're not going to cover that one so much. That one gets really complicated. But COVID spike protein, that is also on the list. Okay, so what do some of these things do? So lead. Lead can cause I'm reading off of a list here. It can cause myocarditis, vascular damage, atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries, and high blood pressure. Copper. What does copper can do? Copper is another culprit toxin commonly found in cardiomyopathy patients, which is heart disease. Excess iron. Okay, that's a big one. Keep that in mind for a minute. Excess iron in the heart can develop into atrial fibrillation. So irregular heartbeat.
Interesting.
Yeah. Increased, because I have often, I used to have atrial fibrillation, but I also used to have high iron. But now I give blood twice a year, which reminds me, I got to go give blood. It'll increase oxidative stress and reduce the body's ability to create ATP, which is the energy molecule. So, okay, keep those two things in mind. ATP, energy molecule, good. Iron, bad. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit more about that tonight. All right, and then the COVID, the spike protein, obviously that is a bad one as well. Now, here's a little bit more about that. Myocarditis. Oh, okay, there's a phrase we've heard before. Myocarditis, this is what was happening to people who had the injection and were suddenly passing out or, God forbid, dying because the heart was enlarged. Itis always means inflamed. Myocarditis, which means an inflamed heart, enlarged heart, right? Often involving heart enlargement, there you go, and heart failure can result from the spike protein exposure following COVID injections or from its presence in chronic COVID. So if you have long haul COVID, that can also be, not to the degree that the injection was, but still, if you're like, man, things are just not letting go, That's why. There's some spike protein still floating around causing you some problems.
Right.
All right. So the heart of the matter, is ATP. Okay? So let's check this out here. No cell, I'm not just talking about heart cells, but no cell in the body, whether in the heart or elsewhere, is healthy when mitochondrial function and ATP production are chronically suppressed. Okay, so ATP is the energy molecule, and mitochondria, what are the mitochondria? The mitochondria are the little energy factories in each one of your cells. Okay, so that's what creates the ATP production.
Right.
So you got to have good energy in those in the mitochondria. Got to have the factories working. And by the way, the primary fuel for the mitochondria is magnesium. And we're going to get into a couple of other things tonight, but magnesium is on the list of things to help your body rid itself of these heart toxins, because we promised you we were going to tell you how to get rid of some of these things.
Right.
All right. So now that we've seen that, here is the list of some of those things, okay?
Okay.
So all diseased cells have higher cellular levels of calcium. Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. And lower cellular levels of magnesium, vitamin C, and glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. So antioxidants in general is what we're talking about here as well. When these levels remain abnormal, mitochondrial ATP production, energy production, will always be depressed as well. So energy production in the cells equals energy production, just how you're feeling too, right? So you're feeling run down all the time. Oh, okay, well that might be suppressed ATP production. Now you notice something there about calcium. I said, right? Hang on to that thought for a second. So calcium, we always get enough calcium in our diet. Nobody ever needs to be taking calcium. Someone asked me that just yesterday. How much calcium do you suggest? I say, never supplement calcium. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, let's read that again. This is not from me. This is direct from this study that was sent to me today. All diseased cells have higher cellular levels of calcium and lower amounts of all these other things, specifically magnesium. Okay, why does that matter? Calcium and magnesium are opposites. We need calcium to contract a muscle, magnesium to relax it. The heart is a very busy muscle, right? So contract calcium, relax magnesium. Contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax. So if we had even amounts of both, that should be the case, right? But no, we have atrial fibrillation. Not only does iron cause that, as we saw in a couple of slides ago, but calcium will do that as well. So we'll have an excess of calcium and lower amounts of magnesium. Well, now we have an imbalance. So instead of being contract, relax, it's contract, contract, relax, contract, contract, relax, contract, 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 relax. That's atrial fibrillation. There you go. That's why that, right? That's why that happens. Now, we saw that we want glutathione, which is the master antioxidant, right? So we want antioxidants. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. Okay, there we go. So we need to get rid of the oxidative stress that is happening in the body. Oxidation. Now, keep that in mind, right? That's what an antioxidant is.
Right.
Oxidation, we want the antithesis of this, the antioxidant, right? Antithesis, that's the big word of the day. Okay, so now I always tell people too, okay, so what is oxidation? What is oxidative stress? That's such a weird term. Okay, think of it this way. You take a wrought iron chair that this outdoor type of furniture, and you leave it out in the rain. What happens to an iron chair if you leave it in the rain?
It oxidizes.
It oxidizes, it rusts.
Yeah.
The rust is the process of oxidation. Okay. What did I say that chair was made of? Iron. Oxidative stress, iron. What was the thing on the list? Iron. That's why too much iron is not good. Oxidative stress, right? We're putting all these countermeasures in there to get rid of that. We want more ATP, how do we get more ATP? Get rid of the oxidative stress. Get rid of the iron. How do we do that? More antioxidants, glutathione, vitamin C. Starting to make sense here? Pretty easy.
Right.
So more antioxidants. Where do we find antioxidants in food? Your berries, your fruit, your colorful vegetables. That's where we get antioxidants. No wonder they're so powerful to get rid of disease, especially when disease has resulted because of the buildup of these metals, which is often never diagnosed.
Right.
Like when I was reading about the chemotherapy thing and I decided, well, we're not going to cover that tonight because it's so complicated. One of the things they did say in there is that people who have cancer often have other diseases as well.
Yeah.
Which sometimes have the root of too much lead, too much iron, too much this, too much that. And they never popped up on a test. So the disease progressed unbridled.
Right.
So part of that, so, you can do chelation therapy with cancer, right? So often people do that. You can also do chelation therapy to get rid of excess metals.
Right.
So that's one way you can do it. But we're going to talk about other ways, that even this study that was sent to me said that metal chelation, which I thought was pretty commonplace, is actually not. It's rarely done still, it said.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of news to me. So these are just other ways to get rid of it. So, but again, if you think about it, if we're trying to get rid of oxidation, just get those things which oxidize, which rust, literally, in the body. Get them out, right? Get more antioxidants in. Pretty simple.
Right.
All right. So, now, how do we get more ATP into the body? That is a question. Okay. So, this is a part of a supplement that we have. This is where the surprise started for me. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cool. So you can see, Jodi sees a preview here and she goes, oh, okay, I get this now. All right, so check this out. In a randomized double-blind trial in 420 patients with severe heart failure and followed for 2 years, there was a 42% reduction in all-cause mortality, not just in heart disease, but everything, and cardiac mortality in patients given 100 milligrams of CoQ10 3 times a day. How about that? Isn't that cool? Okay, so we have that. Now, here is some more supplementation that's important for the heart. We've already covered some of these. Specific supplementation is required to optimize ATP production. What is that? The energy and the mitochondria, right? So the antioxidant producing stuff in the cells of the heart. You need vitamin C. Now, they had specific amounts. I don't want to give specific amounts because we do not diagnose, we do not prescribe. So let's just say you got to take a lot of vitamin C, a lot of magnesium, a lot of vitamin D3. I mean, this is not, when we see people taking vitamin D3, I take, 1,000 milligrams a day. No. We're talking like 5,000, 10,000. Vitamin C, same thing, 5,000, 10,000. Magnesium, jack up the magnesium. Niacinamide, jack that up. Riboflavin, jack that up. CoQ10, 100 milligrams 3 times a day. Isn't that what that previous slide said? So we're talking about therapeutic amounts here, not just the recommended daily allowance. That RDA, or whatever they call it now, after there's some other term for it now, but that's what it used to be called, is just enough to keep you alive.
Right.
I mean, I remember learning that when I worked at the Hallelujah Diet from 2008 to 2013. Dr. Michael Donaldson told me, those amounts are enough to keep you alive for the day. Congratulations.
Right.
100% of your vitamin C, you get to live another day. Good. It's not going to give you a therapeutic dose. Why would you need a therapeutic dose? Because everybody's down on this stuff anyway. We spend our lives indoors in front of computer screens and we're in traffic and there's Roundup on the grass and, it's like there's toxins everywhere. So you are going to be depleted of nutrients, of all these things, vitamin C, vitamin D, everything. So just assume that you are depleted, that you are going to need therapeutic doses to bring you past what it is to live another day on the RDA, on the side of a breakfast cereal package. So just ignore those. So anyway, that is, we need a lot of this kind of stuff. So we need all those different things. Vitamin C, let's take a look at that again. Vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin D3, all these things. Now, okay, so we need all that stuff. Like I said, and metal chelation is an option, but it's not that common. Now, let's get into iron for a second. So iron, what did I just say? So I often have high iron. Some people just do. I mean, I used to give blood all the time in Canada. And that's an easy way to get rid of some excess iron.
Right.
Quite often we'll see when people have blood tests with us, By the way, if you're ever looking for that blood testing, here you go. This is where all of our tests are. We created a special little page where all 3 of the blood tests are. This is the 55 biomarkers, the thyroid, and the hormones.
Right.
So that's all in there. So whenever I test my blood, I'm usually a little bit high in iron. But that is an easy way of giving blood to, not just doing this test, but literally going to give going to Red Cross or One Blood or one of those things and give blood. So when you do that, you get rid of excess iron. Now, excess iron is not just the iron that you see on your blood test, it's also ferritin. So what is ferritin? Ferritin is the body's storage of iron. Now, sometimes you can have a situation where your iron's normal, but your ferritin's elevated.
Right.
Well, when just your ferritin's elevated and your iron's normal, or maybe even just a little bit on the low side, you don't want to give blood to get rid of excess iron. Yeah, there's excess ferritin, but now you're going to make yourself a little bit anemic for a while because you're taking too much iron, free iron away. That free iron is what your body uses every day. Ferritin is stored for a rainy day type of thing. So if just ferritin is elevated, that means you've got inflammation elsewhere in the body. So that's just one of those inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, like fibrinogen, ESR or the SED rate, all those type of things. Even insulin. I saw somebody with that the other day. Okay. They had elevated insulin, but the rest of their sugar numbers were normal. They're like, what is going on here? And then realized, oh, wait a minute, this person's got inflammation going on elsewhere in the body. So it wasn't that they had a sugar or even diabetic issue, because usually that's, high insulin, you've got diabetes. Not necessarily. That's an inflammation issue. If it's just sort of an isolated thing and all the other sugars are normal, and that doesn't equate, because usually insulin, just as an aside here, here's how this reacts. I tell everybody this. You remember the Independent Grocers Association stores? Like a mom and pop shop, instead of having a Walmart or a Kroger or something like that, they had IGA.
Yes.
Right?
In Canada.
Yeah, well, down here too. Yeah, I remember seeing some at Myrtle Beach and places like that, right? We first encountered them in Canada because they were up there too. But anyway, that's the order in which sugar starts to take hold in your body and tells you you're on the way to diabetes. Insulin, glucose, then A1C, IGA. Remember that. So if your insulin's up, your glucose is a little bit up, but the A1C is still okay, you better watch out because the A1C is going to be next. A1C is last in that process because it's a marker of the last 3 months of how your blood has been reacting. Insulin's pretty immediate. Glucose is, it's kind of like this has been happening for a while because like what happens is if there's lots of glucose in the blood, insulin will pump up first and just grab it all and shove it into the cells. So the insulin is the first to react, create an emergency, and create more to sweep the glucose under the rug, as it were. Right. At a certain point, that becomes too much for the insulin to handle. So now the insulin's up, and now the glucose starts to come up. And then that gets out of control, and now the A1C comes up. Now you've got a diabetic problem.
Right.
That's how that happens. So insulin resistance that's why you see so much attention put on insulin resistance, because it's the first kind of, hello, there's something wrong here. You're on the road to diabetes. You better take care of that now. And by the way, when you see on your blood test that insulin is given a parameter of so-and-so to 24.9, that's at 24.9, mainstream medicine will go, there's a problem here. We look at that and say, no, we're going to start asking questions at 6. Yeah. Not 24.9, 6. If I see somebody, I think the highest I ever saw in one of our people was 22.
Well, 6 is pre-diabetic. So if you're pre-diabetic, you're well on your way to diabetes.
Right.
At
but
6, not 24.
A mainstream blood test is not going to say that. Right? We're going to say that because past 6, there's a problem. If you're at 22, I'm freaking out because you've already got metabolic syndrome. You're well on your way to diabetes and who knows what else, other kind of sugar issues, candida and everything else you've got going on. Yep. So don't trust those numbers. Again, do our test, okay? Do our test. We're going to tell you what the real numbers are. Now, here's the irony. Irony. We don't, there's the blood testing there. Sorry, I couldn't find the lower third. There it is. The irony is that we use their tests. We use mainstream medicine testing. we send you to LabCorp, just like your doctor would send you to LabCorp, but we read the numbers differently.
Right.
The test is, sure, get the test, whatever. Even if you have test results already, bring them.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, because we're going to interpret those a heck of a lot different than mainstream medicine will. That's the big difference. It depends. Get the test anywhere, but who's looking at it and what are they telling you to do about it? Or in our case, we don't tell you what to do about it. We're going to educate you. You make your own decision about what to do about it. But we're going to sure educate you, and you're going to make a pretty obvious decision. Anyway, okay, so we were talking about all these different things we want to do, right? All these magnesium, vitamin C. How many can you remember, right? Glutathione.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, because we were talking so much. I forgot some of these. Oh, there we go. Yeah, niacinamide.
Right.
So B3, B2, CoQ10. Okay, so we've talked about all those. Now, getting back to where we'd sort of gone off on the rabbit trail here with iron. Mm-hmm. So iron is usually the first issue people have with one of those heavy metals or one of these things they need to get out of the body. Okay. Right? So like it is for me. That is for a lot of people. Yeah. So how do you get that one out? Okay. Interesting here, something about berberine. Berberine. Now we have berberine plus, made by our friend Billy Weiss, who is a pharmacist. And this was another surprise while I was reading this, going, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So in berberine plus, it's not just berberine that he has in there, which is great for if you have cholesterol issues, if you have diabetic issues. I have a diabetic friend who was on metformin. And he swears that taking that berberine plus alone got him off of metformin.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that powerful. So, and berberine plus has berberine plus CoQ10.
Okay.
And ginstemma.
Ginstemma.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those three things are in there. Ginstemma is sort of is like a green tea type of thing.
Like an ECGC.
Yeah, exactly. It has the same kind of properties in it. Mm-hmm. And then CoQ10, well, you saw everything powerful about CoQ10 already. Right. So berberine, what does berberine do? So this is really interesting. Check this out. So there's a study that says berberine protects the liver. And I didn't know this before researching this. This was really cool. Berberine protects the liver and kidneys, I guess, against functional disorders and histological damages induced by ferrous sulfate, i.e. iron. So it will protect the body from iron.
Okay.
Interesting, yeah. Now, this study was done in Iran, interestingly enough, in 2018. The Iranian Journal of Basic Medical Sciences. So they consider this pretty basic.
Yeah. I do actually.
Surprising to me, but it's pretty basic to them.
I have a 23-year-old who is taking berberine for exactly that, to bring down the iron.
Iron levels. How about that? Look at that. See? Now, so let's read the blue. This study demonstrates for the first time that berberine, for the first time, 2018, for the first time that berberine has potent protective effects against iron-induced hepato, which means liver, and nephrotoxicity. So basically, hepato, liver, nephrology, you've heard of that?
Yep.
Kidney disease, kidney. So against the liver and the kidney. In the purple, berberine exerts its hepato and nephroprotective effects via its antioxidant, there's that word again, potential, by scavenging the free radicals and chelating iron through the binding to iron and reducing the concentration of the catalyzing iron in lipid peroxidation. What does that mean? So that means that, remember what chelating means? Chelating is the Greek word for claw. So what berberine is doing is it's going into your body, grabbing like an eagle's talon, grabbing that iron and pulling it away. It's binding to the iron. So it's grabbing the iron and pulling it away and getting rid of it. So, wow. So berberine can do that. Pretty cool. Good. And then it has CoQ10 in there, which is also protective for all the reasons we talked about tonight.
Now, what if your iron is low, which mine tends to be sometimes? Will berberine then make it go even lower and maybe too low?
Berberine is one of those things that helps equate. It gets rid of excess iron.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it will not take things away. The other thing I'm thinking of that does that is serapeptase. So serapeptase goes after dead protein that your body's not using that's just in the way. It's not going to grab the proteins that your body is trying to synthesize to build muscle.
Got it.
And that's something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will only grab the stuff that is not good.
Got it.
So yeah, so there you go. That is some pretty cool stuff about berberine.
Yeah.
And just other things as well that you can get rid of these toxins in your heart and elsewhere in your body just by doing some simple things. Antioxidants and doing a few supplementations.
Yeah.
Pretty simple stuff.
That's awesome.
Yes. Now, by the way, so we are having a sale on berberine.
Okay.
It is right here. Okay. So through November 15th. So that's through next, looking at my calendar over here, next Wednesday. So 15% off berberine using BERB15.
Berb.
BERB15. And that can be upper or lowercase, doesn't matter. You put that into the discount code, you will get 15% off berberine, and it ends November 15th. If you can't remember that, 15% off, BERB15, ends November 15. Okay, so you've got like 7 days to take advantage of this, all right? So there you go. Now, once you've done that and you're saying, hey, yeah, I want to do that, but I want to test my blood and see where my iron's at least. Can I do that? Yes, you can. LairdWellness.com/testing. Go ahead and go in there and you will find what you need there. All right. Thank you for watching Laird Wellness Live. Scott and Jodi saying thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Take care.